Yo, what's good, everybody, and welcome to another review. I know that it has been a long time since I have posted anything on YouTube. Very good reason. I ain't gonna get into that on this video. It's just good to be back. I hope that everything is going well for you guys. I'm going to be reviewing Zatima, and it's gonna be a little different because I'm not gonna go scene by scene and all that good stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna continue this. Y'all, I'll wait until you guys give me your feedback and your comments. So I'm pretty sure there are going to be a lot of new people listening to me. For those who are already familiar with my sister's reviews, you know that I'm not going to cap. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. I'm going to give my honest opinion, even if it goes against the majority. Again, this is my opinion. So if you can rock with that and be respectful, welcome. I don't mind if you disagree with me. I would actually enjoy reading your comments if you choose to comment. I definitely look forward to reading them, like I said. So if you are a returning family member, you already know what it is. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. All are welcome. Whether you agree or disagree, you are welcome here and free to comment how you really feel. Even if it goes against what I say, which I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of that. But without further ado, let's get into it. This is Tyler Perry's Zatima that two episodes comes out every Thursday on the BET Plus app. So, like I said, I'm not going to go scene by scene, but I am going to cover all 4 episodes. So there were 3 things that I enjoyed talking about the first 2 episodes. There were 3 things that I enjoyed more than I do on Sisters. One was the actual speed of the show. I like that we didn't have to know every intricate detail about what happened morning, midday, and night. I like the speed of the show, how we were able to get through certain scenes. There were some scenes that did drag, but for the most part, I enjoyed the speed of the show. Secondly, as far as production wise, Zatima isn't as bright as Sisters. So for me, it feels more realistic, more authentic, as if we're being invited into their personal world, rather feeling like we're watching an actual production. That's just how it feels to me. And thirdly, we were finally introduced to Fatima's friends, Angela and Belinda. So for me, it was refreshing witnessing these Black women actually be friends. They didn't act as if they were annoyed with each other. They were not tearing each other down, and it appeared as if their friendship was real. That did not last long. Damn you, Tyler Perry. Now, getting into what I did not like about the show. Belinda, who is one of Fatima's best friends, has a past with Zach. I don't even really know if it could be considered having a past with Zach. Her and Zach slept together, they had sex 2 years ago after they met at the airport. And I really would have loved to have seen this show display friendship between these 3 women. I know that things happen in friendships. We do live in a small world, regardless of what state, city you're in. I just really would have enjoyed if that wasn't a smear, or if that wasn't something that they had to deal with within their friendship. I really would have loved to see them, deal with the ins and outs, the ups and downs of being sisters, being friends, without one of them having to have had sex with Zach. That's just me. So that was one of the things I didn't like. So we were introduced to Zach's friends, Nate and what was the other dude name? Tony. Nate and Tony. Complete trash ass friends. And Bryce. We were introduced to Bryce, who doesn't seem as trash as so far. So Nate, I believe it's Nate. Y'all forgive me if I mess up these people's names. I believe it's Nate, who is married, and he speaks as if he's single. We were introduced to his wife. I believe her name was Lori. And it was just, a hot ghetto mess. She comes to the basketball court. She got the kids in the car. Nate is one of those married men who still wants to be single. You know what I'm saying? So I think one of the things that I have to, just to be honest with you guys, and the reason why I say I don't know if I'm going to continue giving my thoughts about Zatima is that I don't believe I am a fan of the way Tyler Perry writes TV shows. That is the guy, honest truth. Now, I did see his new film on Netflix. I believe it's called A Jazzman's Blues. I believe the movie was phenomenal. I enjoyed it. But when it comes to TV shows and the way that they progress, I think that that's what I have an issue with, and I'm just not a fan of it. Because there were certain scenes in Zatima, especially the last 2 episodes, where I think things kind of dragged, and there was some unnecessary, dialogue. But that's just me. And sisters, for those who listen to my reviews, y'all know sometimes it is a struggle to get through that, because the unnecessary dialogue and the scenes that none of us really care about. So that's why I don't know if I'm going to stick to the team. I'm going to try my best to, and just give my overall thoughts rather than going scene by scene. I think that'll keep me more interested in continuing this rather than doing it like a regular review. So Bryce, I was a little bit confused on Bryce, because I was under the impression that the character of Jake was supposed to be on Zatima, because Bryce is the exact replica of Jake. He's everything that Jake represents on Sisters. So I was a little confused about that. I was like, what happened here? And we're just supposed to act as if it's normal. I was like, okay, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'ma just rock with it. And so one of the things that this did irritate me is because on Sisters, it's as if Zach doesn't have any friends. We never knew about Nate. We never knew about Tony, but obviously these are men that Zach has known for a long time. And I do understand that they are not, who I will go to if, he needed advice or something. But it's just that he just didn't have any male presence, any male friends on the show. We got a glimpse of him with Preston, but other than that, it was as if Zach was just out there on his own. But Zatima shows a different narrative for Zach, which has me questioning why he always ran the Danny house. But that's a whole nother story and video that I might do. So a lot of people have asked me about my opinion on the sex scene between Zach and Fatima, and I will say this: if Kadeem, DeVal's wife, has no problem, and if Crystal is involved with someone, her significant other, if they don't have a problem with it, I don't have a problem with it. Personally, I could have done without it, but you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. When you sign up to be an actor and you're a performer, these are certain things that you may just have to do. Is in their contract. They know if they're going to be, if there's going to be nudity or simulated, sexual scenes, acts or whatever. So, it was what it was. I could have done without it. It wasn't no big thing to me. So we get to this dinner scene, and Lord, we find out that Bryce is dating Fatima's friend Angela, and Fatima has a thing about Bryce because Bryce knows Gary, and you know how she feel about Gary. Before I get to that, so Fatima goes to I will say this, just overall, if you listen to my sister's reviews, it's no different. I'm not a fan of bully Fatima. I'm not a fan of big bad wolf Fatima. I'm just not a fan. I am a fan of vulnerable Fatima because it makes her, to me, more realistic and more relatable. In the last 2 episodes, there was a scene where Fatima pulls out her gun and she fires it. And I'm just like, at some point, for someone who is a law student going to school to practice law, at some point, Fatima just has to be smart with her decisions. And when she gets angry, which I understand, she says all she sees is red, and I get it, but that can no longer be an excuse. And we did see a scene between her and Zach, which was probably my favorite scene throughout the 4 episodes that we've seen, but I'll get into that a little later. So Fatima goes to Heather's job, but we know that Heather is a stripper, and she's allowed to go back where the girls are. The dude was like, oh yeah, she cool. I'm like, first of all, I don't care how cool you are. You just not gonna let this random girl go to the back. But anyway, Fatima goes back there. She's basically telling Heather that you're gonna be at our house at 6 o'clock so we can get this DNA test done. Heather wasn't really feeling that. So Fatima, bashes her head into the wall. Let me pause right there, okay? This is why Big Bad Wolf Fatima, I think this is why I have an issue with it. I don't know any woman, even if you feel like you can't beat this other person, I don't know any woman who's going to allow another person to put hands on them and they don't do anything to defend themselves. Heather doesn't strike me as a type of woman who would allow someone to put hands on them and she doesn't do anything. To me, that just wasn't believable, and I guess that's my issue. It's just not believable to me. And then you have the other woman in there who was had mouth in the beginning, but she didn't do nothing. Like, this is my girl, I'm gonna let you put hands on her, and I'm not gonna, like, it wasn't believable to me. I really wasn't a fan of that scene. And so, Heather just stood there like, okay, I'm gonna oblige and do what you say. And I'm like, first of all, I need for it to be some real writing there, because I looked at it like, if that was Heather, I would have been like, first of all, since it's BET Plus, I'm gonna abbreviate. I'm not gonna say the whole word. I didn't F you. I F Zach. So if he wants the DNA test done, he needs to come, and like, I wouldn't even deal with Fatima. Like, I just wouldn't deal with Fatima. But anyway, this is Tyler Perry's world, and we're just watching. You know what I'm saying? We're just on the sideline watching. But that scene was just far-fetched to me. But anyway, so we get to this dinner scene, and we see Angela and Bryce and Fatima and Zach, and then later on, Belinda comes, and Zach closes the door on her face. That's when we find out about the past that Belinda and Zach has had. Another thing I didn't like in the first 2 episodes was just how many times Karen's name was brought up. I'm like, leave Karen over there, sister, since people had so much stuff to say. Leave her over there on Wednesday nights. Deal with Zach and Fatima without Karen. Leave her over there. But anyway, Belinda comes in, and a lot of people had an issue with Belinda. My issue with Belinda was, I do believe there's a time and place for everything. I do believe that she was surprised and she was shocked. And based on what she knows about Zach, she didn't want Zach to be affiliated with Fatima and vice versa. I understood where she was coming from, but what she did and how she did it it was very immature and unnecessary. Telling Fatima about, Karen said he ain't about nothing, and did you know that Karen was pregnant? I still go get my hair done. And I was like, Belinda, why? I was just so upset, because I'm like, these are, again, just like sisters, these are women who have graduated from college. That don't mean you can't be messy and in a little ghetto. But I just would have enjoyed just to see the camaraderie amongst these women, whether instead of Belinda being a snake, as we come to see her in, the last 2 episodes that were dropped. So Zach and Bryce are talking, and the women are talking outside, and you could tell that Angela's kind of like a go with the flow kind of person. She's kind of a more firm Sabrina in a sense, very nice, can be a little bit naive at some points, but I do like Angela. I love Angela, and she is so gorgeous. I love her whole style, everything. I've never seen these individuals before, but the character who plays Angela, I just like, she probably my favorite character on the show, to be honest. Like, I really do just adore her. She's just gorgeous, and I love the representation of her on the show. I really do. So the dinner didn't go well. Zach, I understood his frustration and his irritation. And the thing with Belinda was, you had sex with this person 2 years ago. He's a completely different person than who you met, 2 years ago. It just didn't go well. Dinner didn't go well. So we're going to move right on along. So we see that Zach, Bryce, and Gretchen. Gretchen is someone from the SEC, and this is my own personal issue, or my own personal odd. I don't like when black men call black women the B word. I have a greater problem when I see someone from another race, a man from another race, call a black woman a bitch. So when Bryce said that about Gretchen, I was a little perturbed. I'm like, why she gotta be that? Because she's about her business, because she's on her grind, because she doesn't take foolishness, because she wants to get to the truth. What makes her a B word? I didn't like that. So basically, he was just trying to tell Zach, hey, this is who you gotta talk to. She's a beast, like, whatever. So Zach talks to her. They set up a meeting. She comes to the house. She's basically trying to break Zach. She's trying to get him to tell her the truth about, the situation, how he got the tip. She had pictures, but Zach didn't break. So she said she was going to close the investigation simply because she doesn't have proof. She knows that something has happened, but because she doesn't have substantial proof to prove it, there's nothing she can do at this moment. So Zach is happy because he thinks he's gotten off, so on and so forth. So Excuse me. So we see I don't Tyler Perry, I'm kind of skipping around. Tyler Perry in these recycle storylines, okay? That's my issue. That's my issue because okay, Belinda. We see Belinda and Angela and Fatima. She goes to get her hair done at the salon. And, stuff is kind of fishy. She's trying to figure out, like, okay, what y'all laughing about? What's going on? So they were under the impression, the stylist, that Belinda wanted Zach. She really liked Zach. She wanted to be with him. So Belinda was trying her best to get up out of there because she scheduled her hair appointment when Fatima come to get her hair done. And so, Fatima was like playing cautious a little bit. But we see that Belinda goes over to Zach's house. And she tries to seduce him, as so she says. She want to have sex with him, basically. She's basically saying that, which we know she lying, but she said she was doing this so that she can pretty much show Fatima that Zach is not the man that you thought he was. And in my mind, I'm like, of all the women that Zach could have sex with, why would he choose to have sex with you, someone who's close to his woman? Why would he do that? Even if he was going to be this dog-ass dude, why would he have sex with you? Like, baby girl, you ain't even thinking smart. You want to have sex. You know, unbutton your clothes, your bra out, you showing your friends. It was just bad. So, in my personal opinion, they tried to make that scene, comedic with her, being on top of him and, stuff like that. But I'm just like, sometimes I feel like there are so many missed opportunities. Like, if Zach wanted to, he could have definitely pushed her little behind out his house. But anyway, he goes upstairs, and I think we are all shocked when we see Fatima. Like, how the hell you got in this house? So we find out later on that baby girl climbed up the window or whatever, got in with the window, and it was just bad. Belinda, I think, is so detached from reality in the sense of she really thinks she was doing something to protect Fatima, and we actually saw that this was something that hurt Fatima. Like, this is my man, you're my best friend, this is 20 plus years of friendship, and you're willing to throw it away for a man who you only had sex with once 2 years ago. And I hated that narrative, I really did, but it is what it is. And so, of course, Fatima was hurt. Angela comes over. She's trying to console her. First of all, just like sisters, I can't get with just walking in people's house. What is this? What is going on? Bryce walk in the house. Angela don't even, she doesn't even wait to be invited. She just walks her happy ass in. I was like, oh, so this is a continuation. So everybody just gonna walk in Zach's house. Okay, cool. So, he was like, she's hurt. She's been crying. She's asleep. I'm not going to bother her. And she was like, Fatima. I said, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. So all y'all just rude as hell. Okay. Duly noted. So backing up, we are introduced to a character named Valerie. Valerie is a realtor who Bryce knows. Zach wants to get into flipping houses, and he sees this house that he wants to purchase. And so Bryce was like, oh, I know her. I can get you the information, so on and so forth. We meet Valerie. She comes over to Zach's house because the other side of his duplex is vacant. And so Zach is a flirt. I'm sorry. I don't know if y'all saw it and want to admit it, but the sparks between Valerie and Zach were off the charts to me. He done already gave her a nickname, everything. Yo, what's up, V? I said, V? Well, damn, you just met her a day before. But I was like, okay, I see it. Okay, there may be something. But my thing is, so every girl on this show wanna have sex with Zach. Everybody just wanna have sex with Zach. Okay, I'm assuming even Bryce, because I think he's supposed to be, he's supposed to go both ways. And I'm sorry that term is offensive. I guess he is a bisexual character that we will find out later on down the line. And about that, okay. Now, we have been familiar with the character of Zach since season 1, episode 1 of Sisters. We have never seen him pick up a man, front or back. We have seen him do this twice with the character of Bryce. I said, okay, Tyler, that don't even seem like that's in Zach's nature, especially a man who has been to prison as many times as he's been. I don't see Zach doing that. I think that is so out of character for him. That's just me. I was like, all right. So Valerie lets him know that, she found someone who wants to, rent the other side of his duplex or whatever. And so he's making breakfast for Fatima. She wants to go on a walk. So as they're on this jog, excuse me. So as they're on this jog, Fatima bumps into Ian. Ian is the ex-man who dumped her, and the next week on Sisters it was the next day. Got married to someone else. On Zatima it was the next week, according to Fatima. She was startled to see this person. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. So, Zach comes up, Zach sees him, and they have their little exchange that it was what it was. And so Fatima calls Angela to come to the law firm, and she's just, she's shaken up because I thought that scene was very real. She sees Ian, and automatically it's like I thought I was over him, but all these things kind of like rush back, and I think that is a very real thing. That's why I love this aspect of Fatima, when we're able to see her be this real person, not where she has to be so guarded, or where she has to pull out a gun, or where she has to go and put her hands on somebody. I actually enjoy this side. Not that it's a softer side, but it's a more vulnerable side. It's a more realistic side. And I enjoyed that about her character more than anything else. And so, she just wanted to vent, and Angela was the personal choice that, she chose. So we see Ian when she comes out, and he lets her know that he has cancer, stage 4, and he wants to take her to dinner. And I was like, really, Tyler? Why did I get married to? The hell is this? Because we know in that movie, Mike, who was such an asshole, ends up telling Sheila that he has cancer. And this is the thing that get me. Like, I know we're supposed to not like Ian. I don't have no feelings for Ian right now. But I just think the way that he told Fatima that he had cancer, stage 4, he doesn't have long to live. I'm like, if that would have been written in a way, or if the character would have played it a different way, I could have had some type of compassion. Like, the story in itself is sad, but it's like the way that he just blurted it out, there was no emotion there. There was no feeling about it. I just feel like somebody who was telling another person that they have cancer, stage 4, there's nothing that can be done, I don't have long to live. I don't think it would have came out like that. That's just my personal opinion. I think that if I'm supposed to have compassion or feel a way about this character of Ian, I just think it should have just been related a different way. Then we see Fatima go into her office, and she's distraught because this is the person that she genuinely loved, and that's how the episode ended. However, before I get to that, overall, I would say this. Overall, I felt like, I don't know how I feel about the show. I think it's okay. Like, the way I feel about it, like, I feel it's okay. You have some people, who it's a 10 out of 10. It's a 10, whatever Zatima does is going to be looked at as, it's impeccable. Because I've seen some same people, or I say some reviewers who went off on Karen for getting bucked with Fatima at the workplace. And I was one of those people too, because Karen was out of line. Even though she didn't initially go to the law office to get at Fatima, she just overheard something that got her upset, which she was dead wrong to respond in that way towards Fatima. Her anger should have been towards Andy. But then we see Fatima go to somebody's job, put hands on them, and everybody, it's cool. It's no problem she did that. Really? Now, one thing I will say, I know a lot of people do have issues with me because they feel like I should be this, big Zatima fan, which I am not, but I will give a honest review about everything. I'm like, people can say what they want to say, but I think at least I'm real about some stuff. That's just me. That's just the way I choose to review this show. If I continue, and we'll review Sisters. Now, the one scene I talked about earlier that really sat with me in a very real place was the scene with Zach and Fatima after the situation with Belinda, because she was genuinely hurt, and both of them, in my opinion, took on accountability for their actions, whether it was past or present. Zach was like, he didn't want to cause her any harm, and he knows that he has a past. And when you do have a past, there are times that past may come knocking at your door, and you have to deal with it face on. Unfortunately, he had sex with one of her best friends, and boom, this is what it is. Now, Belinda was wrong as hell for doing what she did, especially when you could say this person, Fatima, is your sister, and she's your friend, your soror, and yet this is how you chose to handle that situation. And even so, Belinda was completely separate from the fault in which she, what she did. She felt like she had no fault in that. It was almost like, well, I'm trying to show you something. It's like, sis, are you for real? And she was. She really was. But the communication between Zach and Fatima during that scene when he was talking about, like, you got to calm down with this gun. Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't respond like that. I need you to do better. Like, we both have to do better. And I just thought that was a real moment. And as far as friendship with Belinda and Fatima, I don't know where they can go from here. Like, I really don't know, getting over the fact that you have had sex with my man. I could push that to the side because I didn't know him at the time and we had no connection. And, this was somebody who you found attractive. Y'all did what y'all did. Ain't nothing I could do with that. And I know one time me and my friend, because both of us lived very promiscuous lifestyles in college, this was way after we got out of school, we never divulged names. And so one time we were having a conversation, and me just being absent-minded, I said a person's name, and her eyes got so big, and I was like, oh, damn. Oh, God, please don't tell me. And we kept going down the list like, oh, my God, okay. Is he dark skinned? Yes. Oh, hell. Short haircut? Yes. In my heart, I'm like, Lord, please. The last thing I want to know, if me and my friend and had sex with the same dude, and we got down to like the last names were different, so we didn't. But it's like, I understand being in that place, but at the same time, it's like, Belinda, I don't know what we can do with you, boo. I don't know where we can go with your character, because you just lost all cool points with me. You lost all cool points with me. Now, just to close it all out. So we see Zach. Zach wanted to have illegitimate business. So Bryce introduced him to this. We didn't see the person, but this office space that he could rent. And it looked really nice. Like, one side would be Zach's, the other side would be Bryce's. They were going into business with each other. And I think with Bryce is one of those people. It's good to have someone who knows a lot of people, but Bryce just, like, how everybody for everything that Zach wants to do. So I do understand, like, the curiosity or the with him right now. But I don't know about Bryce. Right now, he's cool in my book because he really hasn't done anything that was that made me give him too much of a side eye. But I do got a little side eye because he just is too good of a friend right now. And I don't know what he's getting from this in the end. I don't know. But we'll see about him and Zach's relationship and and how it involves. I think the funniest thing that was said was when Fatima and Zach were jogging, and the lady came running who had on that yellow suit or whatever, and Zach turned his head to catch a little glimpse of her, and he was like, oh yeah, I thought that was the sun. Hilarious. I thought that was hilarious. Overall, I thought it was okay. Like, I really did. But it's just my personal preference. I'm not a fan of Tyler Perry's writing when it comes to his TV shows. However, Zatima definitely have some pluses that I feel sisters need to adapt to, especially with the speed of everything. I really enjoyed that, but we'll see how it goes. You guys definitely leave your comments, your critiques, whatever you want to say. The one thing that let me say this before I go, then I'm gonna close it out for real. So we see that Fatima pulled a girl, Melanie, from the game. When Heather came over to the house, Fatima swabbed the baby. Now, I would have beat Fatima's ass as a mother. You didn't have my permission to do that, and you did it anyway. And then she tells Zach, which I said, this is Tyler, so we still got to have some unbelievable mess. Now, Fatima works at a law firm. She tells Zach that they have a lab in the law office so she could get the results. I said, you know what? I'm going to let that slide. I ain't even going to say nothing, but what law firm has a lab in it? And maybe it could just be my ignorance. I don't know of none. And I know a lot of people who are paralegals and lawyers. I have yet for them to tell me that there's a damn lab in their office. And I'm going to leave it at that. But you know what? It wasn't bad. It wasn't great to me either. It was okay. It was okay, but I am looking forward to seeing how this season closes out and, the remainder of the episodes. And Sisters comes back October 12th. And of course, I will be reviewing that. So I thank you guys for your patience. For the new people, yeah, welcome. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, and I will holler at y'all later.